Hey guys, today I want to try something new, so we're going to look at the 2003 Bionicle Rahkshi, and here he is. Rahkshi the Turahk. Don't know how you're supposed to say that, but I'm going to say Turahk. Probably just switch it out for Red Rahkshi for the rest of the video, but might say Turahk, might say it wrong, don't know. So, I got, this isn't the one that I got this canister with. I got one, and I got a Red Rahkshi from a flea market, but he was disassembled. He was just in a bag of parts. So, just threw all the pieces into my pre-built one, this canister, and I had to take his staff because the one I got from the flea market did not have his staff pieces. So I just took those for my pre-built one, and now, we're gonna build him, you know. He's not new, obviously, not sealed, there's no tape around it whatsoever. You still, obviously, you can hear the pieces. Talk about some of the stuff, the two, like, gimmicks. So yeah, I love the canister idea that Bionicle did for many years. The only reason why they went away from it is the sets became bigger, bigger pieces, bigger like skeleton pieces like his leg right there, bigger skeleton pieces, more small pieces, just bigger pieces in general, so they had to more shift away from it a little bit, but they still kept it all the way up to the very end. Okay, you know, and I love the idea, like, it more fits to the Toa, that it was a way for them to transport, but, you know, it works still just fine. So yeah, there are 42 pieces, age 7, which I think is a very accurate age for this toy. Set number right there. So yeah, so this was 2003. Dang, feels like a trip 20 years ago. But this was where they brought in the Toa of Light, and they brought in, or Takua, and then they brought in, like, the physical toy version of Makuta. There was the whole movie, Mask of Light movie, there was a Mask of Light book, and the Rahkshi are the sons of Makuta, so that's why they're so feared, that's why they're so powerful, and they're army builders, basically. They are the essence of Makuta, and there are like hundreds of them. There's like hundreds of different species, variants, and stuff. There are mocks all throughout the Bionicle community of these guys, but that's why they're different colors. That's why there's a yellow one in Bionicle Stars, and all sorts of stuff. So there's Makuta right there, the Kraken. I think that's the Kraken. Or Makuta, yeah, the eye slit, the like nose ridge, and the vents. And obviously, if you know, that's the Mask of Light for Takua. So yeah, I love the canister idea. It's very expensive because it's the whole thing's made out of plastic, but I just love the idea of it. So yeah, there's the logo. So yeah, we'll just open it up. This one you don't twist. I think you don't twist, you just find that little notch right there. You pop it open. I'm going to try to do this by memory. Just going to set this off to the side. So yeah, I'm going to try to do this by memory. So, and my pre-built one did come with instructions, as you can see, so I'll probably just take those out really quick. And then there are all these variety of Krata that you can get for them. Those came in little like polybag things. So yeah, this is the Makuta toy that I was talking about. You know, PlayStation game, Xbox game, the game of the era that they were pushing. Puku and Takua. Takanuva, not Takua. This is Takua. Then he evolves into the Toe of Light, Takanuva. I apologize for that. Bionicle fans, if you're there, don't rip my head off. That is Takanuva. This is like some things you can do with all the other ones, with the, like, builds you do with all of them. So yeah, I'm gonna pour these out, so I'll be quiet. So there we go. Gonna set all that up off to the side. Gonna lower this down so you can actually see all the parts. Move this out of frame. Okay, so I'm gonna try to do this by memory. I think I can. So we got our feet. We're gonna push all of this back. Make sure that we don't drop any pins or axles. So we got our feet. Big, nice stable feet. There are a lot of these Mata hands. I think they're called Mata hands. They're actual names. So a lot of them to match the color. You just put them in and slide them forward, like so. Like so. So now you take these big skeleton pieces out, like open ball joints, facing down. And what I like to do, because these are old, I like to push them together, so then it prevents them from wanting to crack. And I'll talk a bit more about them later, about stability and things like that later on in the video. So I'm just going to continue to go like that so it doesn't spread them apart as much. Talk about my experiences, why I love Bionicle, and in turn, Hero Factory, the younger brother, I would say, the more baby brother, not younger brother, the baby brother to Bionicle. They're not, it's slightly younger, it's a lot younger, but mainly the fact that wasn't as big of a toy line as Bionicle and didn't run as long. So that's why I say baby. That's why, if anyone is wondering. So that's why I say that. So these toys, even when they got into the later stages, the canister toys were always fairly self-explanatory. The boxed ones, the Titans, you kind of had to really start getting out the instructions because they had bigger part counts and things like that. So yeah, but these, especially the earlier wave toys, you really, for the torso of the Rahkshis, you might need a little bit of help with the limbs, all that sort of stuff. You don't really truly need the instructions. It helps, but they're not strictly necessary because it's fairly easy. Put the legs off the side. Need 2 little pins. So these are pins. And then these are axles, or axle pins. An axle would just be this round piece. No, I can't remember. It's been so long since I've actually remembered the terminology for the Technic pieces. So yeah, I can't really remember all that. It just goes in like that. You put this. I think actually the T looking ones, the pluses, are actually the axles. I can't remember. So can't remember right now. So yeah. So as I'm building this, I'm going to talk about my experience with Bionicle. So I didn't catch Bionicle till I was young. So this is a different colored one. All the Rahkshi are supposed to have these tan ones, but this came in the bag, so I'm just going to use it. But I was later to the Bionicle experience. That's why I am much closer to Hero Factory. But if you're pretty close to Hero Factory, you're kind of close to Bionicle, because they're different, but they are still fairly similar in that they're buildable action figures that go on adventures. Yeah, that's a dumbed down version. Bionicle is much, much more complex than Hero Factory, but it's the same basic premise. Obviously, sell toys. But it's still a fairly basic premise for kids to follow. For not really Bionicle. It could get kind of confusing at sometimes. But still, I still grew up with Bionicle. I still experienced Bionicle. But more at the tail end. I experienced the Stars, the 2010 line. I grew up watching the movies. Just simple stuff like that. I didn't experience the books. I have read the books. I love the books. I suggest reading the books. The comic books, I haven't read them. If you really want to go that deep into the lore, you can. But me personally, I just like reading the books. So, yeah, that's what I like. But when it comes to the lore side of it, but I mainly had like 3 of the stars. I'm gonna raise this up so you can see what I'm doing. I had the stars, like 3 of the stars, and then I had the green Rahkshi. And I have been slowly piecing him back together because I like him. And I want him to be somewhat complete. And I have gotten most of the way there, but I was more of a Hero Factory kid just because I was younger when Bionicle existed. And I only got into such a late set because it was still on shelves. The Rahkshi. So that's why I got a hold of that. But talk a little bit about that later. So there is the Rahkshi, the red Rahkshi, Turahk, I think. So yeah, there he is. I'll talk a little bit more about the canister later. But so yeah. Here he is. He still has the gearing function of the era. He swings his staff like so. You can position the arms to where they're like this. You can do whatever you want with them. So at this point in time, they wanted to go a little bit more heavy on the articulation. So the arms, they're still a little limited, especially since these are connected. What I like to do for a technique to connect these, if I want to have them hold one end, is take one of these connectors. Obviously, I just pulled the whole axle out. But I like to take one of these double axle, like, pieces, connectors, I don't know, and then stick it on one end. Like you can do this thing from the Mask of Light movie, where they sit like this and fly. Sit like that and fly. I don't know, whatever you want to do. But yeah, they have a wide range of articulation. They're all ball joints, and that's the thing. Just like Transformers, it's a shame that they're so ball jointed heavy, because that means that these joints will wear out. Most of the ones that I have, because I bought them all together, quite a few of the ones that I have do not have terrible joints. This one doesn't have terrible joints, but that's the bad thing about if you buy them used, you will buy them used, is that their joints, just over time, whether they're played with or not, they're going to get old, they're going to get brittle, they're going to get loose. And that's one of the biggest things you need to watch out for on these older sets, and then the newer sets, because they're designed, the ball sockets like to break a lot. That's why I was holding the edges, so I was supporting them, you could say. So yeah, another one of the gimmicks, you can hit his head, and you can throw the Krana, not Krana, Krata. Let me go get that really quick. So yeah, you can hit his head and throw the Krata. So it gets a little difficult to remember, because the Rahkshi have Krata, these little slugs, the Krata slugs, and you can get a variety of them through those little packages, and they're just soft rubber. And you can get the Krana from the Bullrock. The Bullrock were released in 2002 and 2003. Or 2002, late 2002, and early 2003. These guys, I think... Wait, no. I was wrong. The Rahkshi were 2004. No. See, it's just like Transformers. Because they're different toys, and then they release at different points in different years, it gets very hairy. And different, and very weird. So, I can't remember what year this guy's actually released in, but the slugs are called Krata. And the things that are inside Bullrock are Krana. So, yeah. So yeah, I especially love the Rahkshi. I grew up with the Rahkshi. Not this color Rahkshi. I grew up with the green one, but same thing. They're all army builders. And someday I want to be able to buy a bunch of pieces and mock up every single Rahkshi. I don't know when that will be. It'll be sometime. But I just love the Rahkshi. I love the Rahkshi. They're just close to me. I just love everything about Bionicle. I spent like an entire summer reading all the books. I love them so much. For me, experiencing them so little when I was younger, me experiencing them in the past couple of years have definitely been a joy, because I've liked Bionicle, but because I was younger, I didn't experience it because I was younger, and really miss the time window from when it was, that 9 years where it was made and then canceled. I just missed the opportunity. Obviously, I still own Bionicle toys. I loved them. I played with them just like my Transformers and Hero Factory sets. But, it just felt like a different beast when I found all of those Bionicle toys at that garage sale. And I read all the books that entire summer. It felt different than if I were to do that with Transformers. And Hero Factory alike. I got a lot of Hero Factory toys in that lot, I guess you could say, that garage sale. And that brought back a lot of memories. I'm slowly trying to piece back together my old Hero Factory sets. But definitely Hero Factory and Bionicle, because they've been dead for so long, probably, is that it was a completely different beast when I got them back here this last couple of summers when I got them. And then in turn when my brother found this bag and I bought it, got this Rahkshi and got some other stuff. It was just definitely a trip for me to see it, and it felt like, like if I saw an old Transformer from my childhood, I'd be like, oh, I remember that. But if I saw a Bionicle, I'm like, man, it's been that long. I don't really know. Just, it was a different thing. So, I'm going to show off the whole canister gimmick. If you don't want to take them apart, but you want to store them in the canister, I'd say maybe for moving. Don't know. You can position them to where they can fit. And I guarantee there's some lore behind it to justify it. But there's no real way. You just scrunch them up. Just scrunch them up, and you have to fiddle with it a little bit. You have to scrunch them up like that. So yeah, I'd say the biggest thing for that is like moving, or like if you want to take it on vacation or something like that. I don't know, because it doesn't matter. If you love that toy, it's going with you. And the canister, it's good for traveling, because you don't have to take the thing apart. You can just scrunch them up and throw them in the canister, and they fit into the lore. They're not just a thing that you should keep around just because. So yeah, Bionicle, there are very few bad things. Very bad sets. I haven't experienced all the sets, but just looking at them, experiencing the sets that I have, there's very few bad ones. Obviously, the breakages on the ball sockets and stuff, it sucks, but that's just part of poor design from the engineers and just age. But, so yeah, that's really all I got. So, till next time, see ya.